Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are going to take a look at the newest standalone expansion for Transformers, the deck building game. This is War on Cybertron. This is playable 1 to 4 players. I originally was invested into the G.I. Joe deck building game. Then discovered the My Little Pony deck building game and have really been taken by both of them. Are they the best deck builders out there? No. But I feel like they do really well work with the IP that they have. And Transformers, much like G.I. Joe, I was very fond of as a child. So the IP is there for me. War on Cybertron, I feel like, finally has gotten my attention, and I wanted to go ahead and give it a try. So again, this is not the original, this is not the core box, but this is a standalone expansion. So you can play this by itself, or you can combine it with the original. Or I believe there's a Rise of Darkness or something like that, where you actually play as the bad guys. So let's see what we got in here. So again, this is by Renegade Games, the same people that brought us G.I. Joe, the deck building game, that brought us the Power Rangers deck building game. That's now the only one I have not tried, is the Power Rangers deck building game, but to my knowledge, you can't play it solo, so hence my aversion to it. So there we go, G.I. Joe deck building game, G.I. Joe role-playing game, Power Rangers role-playing game, War on Cybertron rulebook here. Decent size. That's a lot of text. Okay, a lot of text. Now, hopefully, they have learned their lesson. I kind of know how to play this game. I did do a little bit of research before just going out and buying a product, but I do remember how poorly written the G.I. Joe, the deck building game, rulebook was. So I'm hoping that they have found a different way to go about writing their rulebooks. So here we have the core set, Rising Darkness is the other standalone expansion, Infiltration Protocol, and Dawn of the Dinobots. This is the full line here. May have to get Dawn of the Dinobots. And I believe there is also the next expansion coming out is the Combiner Wars, which would be amazing too. Not Destructicons, yeah, the Destructicons, the ones that were like the construction bots that turned into the giant one, would be amazing. All right, here we have some standees for the various characters. Let's see if I can remember. Optimus Prime, obviously. Hot Rod was probably my favorite growing up, and then Prowl. I want to say like RC, but I don't think that's correct. I'm not really sure who she is here. Various tokens, ongoing tokens. Let's see if this is double-sided. Yep, double-sided there. These are double-sided. So yeah, looks pretty good there. And that appears to be it. And then otherwise it is some cards. And it is a deck building game, obviously. Decent looking insert. We have some Energon cubes. It looks like they come in 2 different sizes here. So a big one that's probably 5 and a small one. We have some standees for the characters. We have some large cards here. Let's just take a look at these now, because the only thing else in here is cards. The plastic in here is a little flimsy, which does not bode well for holding up to the test of time, but I like how there's some decent options here for to store bits and bobs, tokens, Energon cubes, things like that. So, all right, looks like we've got some reference cards here: co-op reference, play reference, battle reference. Okay, and now we have. We'll flip these over. So we have Optimus Prime. I'm assuming this is Autobot form, and there is his alt form, the truck. Elita 1. Okay, I was wrong. I do not remember Elita 1. Yeah, I guess RC I think was a motorcycle. But there is Hot Rod, I absolutely loved this toy. That was one of the coolest vehicle forms. And Prowler, I think, okay. Yeah, I guess he was the police officer. I'm thinking I remember Prowler from like when he was on Earth. But there is Megatron. He is tank form Megatron in this one, not the gun. Slipstream. I don't really remember Slipstream. Hunger. Oh, that guy looks like a Dinobot to me. I don't really remember Hunger. I do remember this thing though. That was like the guy that could turn into a plane and carry them all. Barricade, and there we go. All right. So let's get the cards out and take a closer look at those. Last but not least, let's take a look at the core of the game. This is a deck builder, and these are the cards. So looks like we have here some starter cards. I'm assuming that this is for 1 to 4 players, so everybody's probably going to get a bold. This looks like it just provides standard energy. Well, maybe they get more than a bold. A scout. So this one provides flight. Let's see what else we got in here. Patch. Looks to be like a repair card. Resupply. Gaining energon. What else we got here? Artillery. Okay, so this actually has additional power with range. And then we have, yeah. All right, so now we have basic cards. So this is going to make up your starting deck. Basic cards, these are damage cards, so wound cards, things like that. I believe there's 2 different kinds in this one. You got blast wound and energy leak. I don't know if you are dealt them randomly or if you're told when to have them, but you can kind of see these have like a yellowish border along with reinforcements. So reinforcements are going to be that standard deck of cards that just sits off to the side. They're all going to be the same, and they're always available to purchase no matter where you are in the matrix. Otherwise, the rest of these cards from here on that we're taking a look at are going to be face down in a grid called the matrix, which is thematic for Transformers. And so cards are going to give movement, like this individual gives you 1 movement, 1 range, and 1 power, which can be used to purchase and attack, which is nice. There's only like 1 thing you have to think about, but there is movement involved, whereas a lot of deck builders don't have movement. So if you walk over a card and are able to then flip it over, spending movement, you can fight that card, purchase that card. If it's a site, you can interact with it, things like that. So I'm not going to necessarily look through every single card, but I figured it'd be fun to look at least some of the kind of main characters here. Chromia, I don't remember Chromia. Blue Streak, oh yeah, Silverbolt. You can see that all of these guys are listed as Autobots. They're all robots, but Autobots, because then now we have the Decepticons. So these guys will be adversaries. You can play the game as Decepticons, or you can play them as Autobots. And so depending on who you are, the other faction is your adversary. Slugfest, Dragstrip, Ramjet, Breakdown. See, I don't understand why they have 2 very different art styles. They did the same thing with G.I. Joe. Had very conflicting art styles. I wish they would just pick one person to do all the art. Yeah, like this guy is very CGI generated, and this guy is very classic cartoon looking. Not a huge fan of the fact that they are different. Okay, so there was the main characters in the game, and then we're going to have a whole lot of other cards which give you various things. So let's see what's in here. So yeah, a whole lot more just kind of extra cards that you can add to your deck that do various other things. Maneuvers. Okay. Then we have here sites. So sites, when flipped over, will stay put. I don't know if you can like destroy a site or not, but you can just simply, if you're on that site, pay the cost and get the benefit. So here's just some examples of some of the sites. There is sites, and then there's polities. So I believe the polity is unique to this expansion, the War on Cybertron. But a polity, when you flip it over, it is given to the adversary. And that's where these tokens here are going to come in. These double-sided tokens. If you were playing, say, as Autobots and this came out, it would be flipped to the adversary side. And then here you can say, if this polity is under your faction's command, return 1 damage you control to the stack. But then you can pay 3 power to take command of this polity, pay 1 more power for each polity under your adversary's command, including this one. So you can actually go to this site, pay to flip it over, and then it's yours, and no matter where you are, that site is doing something for you. So we have those. Then we have Relics. These are going to give you various things, but a lot of times endgame VP, which doesn't matter if you're going to be playing solo or co-op, but you can play this game competitively, kind of like, Autobots versus Decepticons type of thing. So very kind of similar to how you would play Star Wars, the deck building game, which we've featured on the channel, where you can only, you'll fight certain cards that are on the opposing faction, and you'll gain certain cards that are in your faction. So here we have some bosses. Some bosses are simply going to be who you would fight depending on who you are. So if you're playing as a Decepticon, you may come across Blaster here, or Blur, or Thrust is a Decepticon boss, Dirge is a Decepticon boss, Windblade is an Autobot boss, Springer, Octane. It's kind of weird that these guys are like mixed up. I guess they're ranked via Ultra Magnus. Oh, I used to like him. Superion, he's a combiner. Menasar and Shockwave. Ooh, Shockwave's the big baddie. So those were ranked in like how difficult they are. Last but not least, we have some cards that aren't necessarily always going to be used. So cooperative schemes here are thrown into the game if you are playing cooperatively. So something to work against. Pile of Scrap is also, I'm not sure if this is a module or if you're required to play it, but you would basically set these cards aside, and when you defeat an adversary, you're going to put a pile of scrap in their place after you have defeated them. You're going to have to go there and clear it. I don't know if this will slow the game down a lot, because you're not just going to get a new card that could be good or bad. You're just going to get this scrap, and I'm assuming if there's too much scrap on the board, you are, going to lose or something like that. We have some missions, so you can see here whether it's team versus team, co-op, solo. Like there's team versus team and co-op. Wonder if there's any solo only ones here. But these basically, you would pick one at the start of the game, and it just kind of changes up things a little bit from just the standard game. No, nothing that is purely solo, but that's okay. And then last but not least, we have these ambush cards, which again, I'm not sure if these are required to play with. It seems like kind of like a module, but if you get ambushed, which means you are standing on a space and you flip it over and it's an adversary card and you weren't ready for it, you get ambushed, you would flip over one of these cards. You can see that the back is different, just like the missions back. So these cards aren't ever going to be shuffled into like your deck. You would flip these over and do the stuff on them. So that is it. That is all of the cards here for Transformers, the deck building game. This is the War on Cybertron. Newest expansion for the game, but it is a standalone expansion. So you can play this game completely out of the box as it is. We're going to be giving it a try. We'll give it the full treatment. How to play video coming up next. Storage solution should be pretty straightforward, so we're not going to cover that. And then a solo playthrough or some kind of co-op playthrough probably coming up on the future. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more Transformers content in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment on this video or any others, letting me know what you'd like to see on the channel. That helps my channel grow and helps me give me a little guidance on what you guys like to see. So once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.